Nama Sankirtana ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnana Timidandasya
Jnananjalakaya Tasmasundayamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sahitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Pudati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sargana Raghunatam Vikamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Balan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamikamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Prapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Paramani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasavi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I feel I sit in between all of you in a wonderful puppet show. So we'll see our discussion today. Everyone's in eager anticipation. So let us see. So we've been discussing this topic of transcendental knowledge. And we know that Krishna appears when he wants, where he wants, and to whom he wants. He has no, answer to anybody but his own will. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Controller. And thus, his descendants happens, again, according to his will. And so Krishna has been explaining some of the different natures of his appearance, our appearance, why he can remember things from past life, and why we don't, and so on and so forth. So in this verse, Krishna is now going to explain specifically the three reasons that bring his descent into this world. So let us read verse 8 and then we'll discuss. You would like to read this verse?
Paritrāṇāya sadhūrnāṁ vināsāya duṣkratāṁ dharma samsthāpanatāya sampavāmi yuke yuke. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualifications of Krishna consciousness, wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. And Dushkratham applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or Dushkratham are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind. Even though they may be decorated and mundane education, whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness accepted as sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well cultured. As far as the atheists are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear as he is to destroy them, as he did with the demons Ravan and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord especially descends to appear his unalloyed devotees who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demons harasses the devotee even though the latter may happen to be his king. Although Prahlad Maharaj was a son of Hiranyakashipu, who was nonetheless persecuted by his father, although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa. She and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said here that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreant, the Lord appears in different incarnations.
In the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadasa Kaviraj, the following verses summarize these principles of incarnation. Srishti Hetu He Murti Prapanche Avatare Se Ishvara Murti Avatar Namadare Mayatita Paravyome Sabara Avastan Visve Avatari Adare Avatar Nam. The avatar or the incarnation of Godhead descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and the particular form of a personality of Godhead who so descends is called an incarnation or avatar. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar.
There are various kinds of avatars such as Purna avatars, Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Sakti Yusha avatars, Manmantra avatars and Yuga avatars, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is primarily Lord, the fountain of all avatars. Lord Shri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotee, who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavana pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of the Krishna avatars is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees.
The Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by Sankirtana movement, congregational chanting of the holy names, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtana would be broadcast all over the world, from town to town and village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly but not directly in the confidential parts of the revealed scriptures such as the Upanishads, Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants but delivers them by his costless mercy.
Okay. So again, Krishna is saying here in this very famous verse, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. So what are the three reasons Krishna appears?
To deliver
To help devotees.
To help devotees,
To to establish the religion.
To establish religion?
I mean,
To deliver by us.
Wait, hold on.
re-establish.
Re-establish.
Re-establish the principles of religion.
Why not establish religion?
Shall be there.
It was already
It was
there.
It's already there.
Sanatana.
It's Sanatana.
Yeah.
It's eternal. Right? So this important word is re-establish, meaning he's not coming and giving something new. Right? That is the principal thing he told Arjuna. This Bhagavad Gita is not 5,000 years old. It's eternal. It's been going on long, long time. So this religion is meant to be re-established when it is not so practiced properly. Okay? And what is the third reason?
To deliver.
Annihilate the miscreants.
Deliver the devotees, we said.
Annihilate the miscreants.
Annihilate the miscreants. Okay? So those are the three reasons that Krishna comes. And Krishna is saying that he is coming for these three reasons, right? So now the question is, you can close that door for me.
Sure.
So these three reasons, but now Prabhupada is giving us in the purport, what is the deeper or real reason Krishna comes, or the primary reason we can say. Okay, let's back up for 1 second before we answer that. Does Krishna need to come to destroy the miscreants?
No,
Why not?
because he has so many, lords who is equally or maybe more powerful than demons. So he doesn't need to come.
He can.
Okay, so he doesn't need to come. He has other agents who can do it.
Yeah.
Why else doesn't he need to come to kill the miscreants?
To liberate them.
He can come. Well, that might be why he comes, because if he kills them and they liberate,
Everything emanates from him. He can do whatever he wants.
everything emanates from him, so he can do whatever he wants.
To get more faith on the devotees that God will come, Krishna will come for me in case of the need.
Okay, so to give faith to the devotees that when they are in trouble because of the demons, when they see Krishna appearing, it builds the faith that Krishna is our only real shelter. I like that. So Krishna can also kill the demons just by his will. Right? He doesn't even have to send anybody. Right? Just by Krishna's will, things happen. Right? Wouldn't it be nice if by our will, like, our office work would happen? It happens. It'd be nice. Then would we read more Srimad Bhagavatam, or would we sleep more? But Krishna doesn't actually have to do anything, right? It can happen by its own manifestation. You can just desire this demon should go, and what will happen? Modes of nature will bring one lightning strike and gone. Like that? No. So, destroying the miscreants maybe is not the primary reason. How about re-establishing principles of religion?
That's possible. That's
Krishna has to come to do that?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
he is Prabhupada. Many kind of people has come here.
Okay, so some are saying yes, some are saying no. So we have a debate. You're all alright.
That's also he can
Okay.
do through his.
But people are conditioned. He has to come and show his Leela to
Yeah.
re-establish the religion.
Devotees actually for his devotees is coming.
So then it says to protect the pious, to deliver the sadhus. So is that why he's coming then? He has to, he cannot, if he's not here, he cannot protect his devotees? Oh, now we get questions. Right? He can?
You can, yeah.
He can.
He can and he does.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why we are.
That's why
That's
we are
why we are-
here. So Krishna doesn't have to come to even protect his devotees. He's always protecting his devotees. Right? He says in 9th chapter that for my devotees, whatever they are lacking, I provide, and whatever they have, I preserve, I'm protecting. He says, I'm the ever well-wisher of my devotees. He constantly is giving this promise. Right? So Krishna doesn't have to come to even protect or deliver his devotees. He's always protecting his devotees. So now then, why does he come? He says these three things. But we know Krishna, when he speaks, sometimes he speaks, but there's deeper meanings to his intent, right? So we understand our Acharya's comment. These are like the higher level, superficial reasons he comes. To kill Kamsa, Ravana, to deliver the devotees, to speak Bhagavad Gita. But Srila Prabhupada tells us in the purport, the deep, real reason Krishna comes.
Want to enjoy with the devotees.
He wants to enjoy with the devotees. To relieve the anxiousness of the devotees who want to experience his pastimes. So Krishna comes to please and to satisfy his devotees. So it's very appropriate we are reading this verse today. Because what is tomorrow? Very auspicious day in which we celebrate the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. And we celebrate his amazing instructions to all of us, which we'll be discussing in detail tomorrow. But it's very appropriate that we get to discuss this verse today in preparation for that. See, Krishna is very mystical. He arranges these things and even Ravana shows up in the purport, right? And who planned that? So we see how mystical the Supreme Lord is. But very appropriate. So Krishna comes primarily and exclusively, we can say, to enjoy with his devotees. And along the way, he performs other activities. But the primary purpose he comes is that. And we remember that when Krishna says that you surrender unto me, abandon everything. Remember, Krishna is also surrendering everything and abandoning everything for his devotees. It is a two-way street, not a one-way street. He is fully giving himself to his devotees. Want to enjoy with him? Okay, I'll come. That is it. That is the reason he comes. So, one question might be, wait a minute, if the devotees are enjoying with Krishna in the spiritual world, why he has to come here? Right? And anybody wonder why he has to come here?
He is our eternal Father and he is expecting all the loving sons to come back to him.
Yes, so that's those that are here. But the devotees in the spiritual world are anxious to experience pastimes with Krishna.
He's present
So
everywhere.
he's not leaving the Gokula, means he's coming, but at the same time he's not leaving.
Okay, so he's present there and here.
Yeah.
But why the devotees are, and these pure devotees, Prabhupada writes that the prime purpose of the avatar, the Krishna avatar, is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. That means pure devotees.
Pure devotees.
Pure devotees are in the spiritual world. So why, coming here to the material world, Krishna has to come to satisfy them? They are in the spiritual world.
So
Pure
when he
devotees want to
comes,
serve him more here.
Yeah,
Then
so
the
we also want-
after liberation only they will go to the spiritual world.
He wants to attract every soul.
Okay.
So when he comes, he also brings his unalloyed pure devotees with him, Prabhu, to this material world to
Yes.
participate in his pastimes.
Yes.
So that way they also enjoy with him. So
Yes. So these unalloyed devotees are coming. They come from the spiritual world to enjoy with Krishna, right? So my next question is, what they are enjoying here that they can't enjoy in the spiritual world with Krishna? They're already in Goloka, enjoying with Krishna. He says he's coming to satisfy their desires. So why they're coming to the material world?
To show example to the future generations that he can do whatever extent he wants.
But that's not the desire of the unalloyed devotees. That's that's our benefit, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Because here also we are thinking about Krishna. Krishna wants to bhakti. We are also doing bhakti.
Because these pastimes in this Vrindavan, in the earthly Vrindavan, contain some special features that aren't even present in Goloka Vrindavan. And to experience that, the pure devotees desire. Krishna, let us go and enjoy it. Do they get to celebrate Janmashtami in Goloka Vrindavan?
No.
Krishna's there. But in Vrindavan, Braj, yes, they get to celebrate Janmashtami. They get to celebrate Krishna's naming ceremony in Goloka. How about Krishna, I say playing because he's really playing with demons and destroying demons, but he's really play. Does he get to do that in Goloka?
No.
So many sweet features.
Lifting of Govardhan.
Lifting of Govardhan. All these different pastimes, they don't manifest in the spiritual world. So, to satisfy the thirst of his pure devotees who want to enjoy these pastimes, Krishna descends and performs these pastimes. Now, when Krishna performs these pastimes in the material world, this land of Vrindavan, it is not material, it is fully spiritual. And in some ways we can see now, right? This is actually a very special Vrindavan. Because pastimes take place here that don't even take place in Golok. That's how special this was. And when Krishna performs these pastimes, of course the pure devotees are enjoying. And they are satisfied, and Krishna is enjoying. But who else is benefiting from Krishna's performance of these pastimes? Some of you all said earlier. We are all benefiting. And what is the benefit? How do we benefit?
By seeing those things, we can get like confident that Krishna can go any extent to satisfy the pure devotees.
So we get some confidence that Krishna will go to any extent to please his devotees. Because our primary concern when Krishna says you surrender everything, abandon everything. He doesn't say most things, everything. And you just surrender unto me. What is our fear? What will happen to me? Right? If I give everything to Krishna, what will happen to me? Right? It's a natural inclination. So Krishna performs his pastimes here. And what does he show? The result. What happens when the residents of Vrindavan give everything to Krishna? How does Krishna reciprocate? In unimaginable ways. In ways that are so sweet and so overwhelming that the residents of Vrindavan are in eternal bliss and happiness. So Krishna performing his pastimes here gives us an opportunity to see and experience and understand what the nature of the relationship with Krishna is with his devotees. How deep and sweet and the different varieties of relationships that exist. And ultimately it gives us a glimpse into what life is like in the spiritual world. We have one evidence, and let's see if anybody knows, how much importance Srila Prabhupada placed in having us know and become aware of Krishna's pastimes. He did something very important. Anybody know what he did that really proves how important it is for us to understand these pastimes? He did something very... Anybody knows?
before finishing Bhagavatam, Prabhupada tried to finish Krishna book. He wanted to spread the Krishna book to the whole world. Is it?
Yes. So before even completing Srimad Bhagavatam, he presented Krishna book, which is a story narration of the 10th canto. It's the whole 10th canto from chapter to chapter, but it's presented in kind of, narration form. Because he said, if for some reason I'm not able to finish Srimad Bhagavatam, I want to at least make sure my devotees can see and understand what it is that they're working for, why they're chanting so much, why they're rendering devotional service, what is the result of their purification in devotional service. It is to awaken this relationships that exist in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And so thus he presented Krishna book even before completing Srimad Bhagavatam, just to ensure, just in case. Thankfully he was able to also get very far into Srimad Bhagavatam, but you can see how much importance these pastimes are. So because they give us insight into our relationship with the Supreme Lord, and great detail, right? We learn so many lessons from the residents of Vrindavan. And actually, the process of devotional service, those of you who have studied Nectar of Devotion, you remember that as we progress in the stages of bhakti, we are following in the footsteps of the Vrindavan devotees, the Ragatmika Bhaktas. Why? Because they have perfected love for Krishna. They have perfected the ability to please Krishna. Nobody can please Krishna more than the devotees of Vrindavan. And whose opinion is that? That's Krishna's opinion. He is the one who says, who can please him most? Right? And he said, nobody can please me like the devotees of Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us how to follow in their footsteps, so that we can also learn how to please Krishna. And so this is the primary means or reason for his appearance. To enjoy with his pure devotees very special and unique pastimes. And the byproduct of that is all the conditioned souls, all of us, have an opportunity to see firsthand this very sweet and deep relationship between Krishna and his devotees, with the hope that it will inspire us to achieve a similar great fortune and to engage with Krishna in these pastimes. So now we'll break down a couple of other topics quickly and then have some discussion. So the beginning of the purport, Prabhupada talks about a sadhu. Who is a sadhu? Somebody with a long beard, orange dress, old person.
Who is
Sadhu?
engaged fully in Krishna consciousness.
He's engaged fully in Krishna consciousness.
100% in Krishna consciousness.
And what does that mean? Engaged 100% or fully in Krishna consciousness. Always has mridanga and kartals in his hands.
Always thinking
His
of Krishna.
intention.
Always thinking of Krishna. Yeah.
His intention to please Krishna all the time.
Intention to please Krishna all the time.
Whatever Krishna likes, he will do that.
Yes. So he's always thinking how I can please Krishna. With whatever activities is doing, is constantly thinking only that. He is not thinking where my chapatis will come from tomorrow, what I'll do here, what will happen if this happens. Simply pleasing Krishna. That is his only and exclusive thought, meditation, and activity. So that is a sadhu, right? And so then who is a dushkritam, miscreant?
Who do not care for Krishna consciousness.
Who does not care for Krishna consciousness. That seems pretty broad, huh? If we go to our local Somerset Mall, they go, so who would qualify as a Dushkritam and who would qualify as a sadhu? Right? Krishna says in the 7th chapter there are 4 types of miscreants. There are those who are, the Buddhas, the grossly foolish, the lowest of mankind, and the Radhamas. Those who knowledge has been stolen by Maya, the Maya Prakrityan, and the straight demoniac, the Asuras. But Krishna later in Bhagavad Gita defines who's Asura and who's Asura. Sura and Asura. Sometimes we think Asura, horns, big teeth, fiery eyes. Who's Asura?
Anybody who's not
following
Krishna
Krishna.
consciousness.
And who's Sura?
Who follows Krishna consciousness?
It's black and white. It is black and white. Right? So, now we see when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and said, in every town and village. Why every town and village? Because every town and village is full of?
That's it.
Yes. But that doesn't mean we think, oh, these are bad. No. One acts, views the Asuras with love and compassion, care, thinking how I can deliver Krishna consciousness to them. Because what is Krishna's goal? What is Krishna's desire?
To deliver all.
To deliver all. Krishna wants to deliver all. What would make Krishna the most happiest of all happy?
To bring his nostril back.
All living entities go back and no more material creation. That would make Krishna ecstatic. What mother and father does not want all their children home with them? All of them. Right? So this would make Krishna the most happy. And if the Krishna conscious person is constantly thinking of Krishna, how to please him, then what do we think is the most pleasing service to Krishna? Massaging his feet, making him rasgullas, fanning him. What do we think is the most pleasing service to Krishna?
To bring as many as people to Bhakti Rakshas.
Yes. To bring all miscreants to Bhakti Rakshas. Yes. Very practical answer. Yes. Because, and that's actually, Krishna says this at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. One who shares this knowledge with others is most dear to me. And there will never be one more dear to me. Because we know, particularly in this age of Kali Yuga, this world is full of miscreants. And we should not think that as a negative. What should we think of that? Opportunity. Wow! There's so many people we can preach to. We don't have to look, just go and get anybody. More than likely, miscreant. And we should feel blessed. I have the powerful weapon. What weapon do we have? What weapon we have? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the holy names. What more powerful weapon is there? So we have a powerful weapon, and we have ample targets. You don't even have to be a good shooter. Just blindly shoot, you're going to hit somebody. With love, of course. So this is very fortunate. We have this great opportunity to just go out. Miscreants are everywhere. And not look at the miscreants with a sense of, oh, you are, no, with a sense of love and compassion. How we can share these holy names. Share this teaching. And know that that is what is going to please Krishna more than anything. Because if a mother or father is separated from their child, what would please them more than someone who brings that child back to them? Nothing. Nothing would please them more. Right? So Krishna's mission, he says here, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants. He's annihilating the miscreants out of his love because of the difficulty they are giving to his devotees. But the devotees have so much compassion that they follow the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not annihilate the miscreants. What did he do? He annihilated the anarthas of the miscreants. He came with a weapon. He came with the most powerful weapon, more powerful than Lord Ramachandra's arrow. And what weapon he came with? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So he came to annihilate the miscreants, but not themselves. He came to annihilate the anarthas of the miscreants. So this is our great opportunity to follow in the footsteps, and we can see why Srila Prabhupada, endeavored so mightily to travel the world and make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction, a giant step forward. Srila Prabhupada took it, and now all we have to do is just carry it a little bit further. He has done all the hard work. And all we have to do is just do a little bit, and if we all do just a little bit, every town and village will find. And are we going to find miscreants in every town and village? 100%. And this is a great opportunity for us to share this knowledge and treat it with great love and compassion. So this is why Krishna comes, to specially enjoy special pastimes with his devotees, his pure devotees, and also to show to those who are not yet pure in Krishna consciousness what awaits them if they, take on to the process. Sometimes we find the process, our sadhana, our devotional service, we find it arduous, we find it, some effort, it's challenging, But if we know what result awaits, then that inspires the action. Why we put so much effort into our studies, because we knew someday a paycheck would come. If there was no prospect of a paycheck coming, would we have put the efforts into our studies? Even if mother and father beat and beat and beat, we would not put. Right? But we became aware and we had faith in the value of that paycheck. And thus it inspired great endeavor, enthusiasm. So, by studying Krishna's activities, his pastimes, his different incarnations, his appearances, it should build our faith in what is the result, the value in practicing our devotional service very sincerely, with great enthusiasm. And then being determined in our sadhana becomes very easy, because I have faith in the goal. And that goal is to experience the bliss of devotional service with the Supreme Lord in so many very sweet ways that we can see, touch, and feel by studying his pastimes when he comes here. Otherwise we'll think, it's all theoretical in the spiritual world, and be due to our policy, because all of it is written in Shastra, but still Krishna comes to show it to us in a tangible way. Anyway, so maybe we'll stop there and have any discussion, questions, comments. Yes.
Guruji, in the purport, Sri Prabhupada was mentioning about the age of Kali. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnations, right? But normally it means, like I heard earlier, like it was in the age of Kali, it is going to be Kalki Avatar. So So could you please explain that one?
Yeah. So you might see in the paragraph, the second to last paragraph, there are 6 types of avatars.
Yeah.
So there are Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, Manvant avatars, which ones did I miss? Shaktivesh avatars, and Leela avatars. So there are 6 types of avatars, 6 categories, I should say. They are unlimited within each, right? So within any yuga, there can be multiple avatars. So Kalki avatar is coming at the end of Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Right? But we know Krishna himself appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to establish the Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma.
Which avatar it comes?
The Yuga Dharma. Yuga avatar.
Okay.
And we get reference from this in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. King Nimi is hearing from the Novya Gendras. And there, it's explained that Krishna is coming, but he's coming in a covered jhana form. He's not announcing, say, I'm the Supreme Lord. He's coming in a covered, but he's coming in a golden complexion. And what is he doing? He's spreading Sankirtana, chanting of the holy names. And this time is actually going to be very, very fortunate. Because by the simple process of chanting, one can achieve the greatest of all results. So we get understanding of this appearance. So again, there can be some overlapping in the avatars. And also, a person can be in multiple categories of avatars also. So that gets a little bit complicated. But that one can be in 2 categories.
So is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Gunavatar Prabhu? Is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Yuga avatar.
Yuga avatar.
But remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, they are avatari. So they are the source of all avatars.
So
right?
That means Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not the Gunavatar Prabhu. It's not the Gunavatar for Kali.
Not Guna avatar. Guna is the mode. Yuga.
Yuga avatar. Sorry. Not the Yuga avatar?
No, he is. But he is the source of all avatars.
Okay.
So this term is a little bit, it's used in both contexts. But we should understand that there is one source. Right? That is Krishna. Krishna's tu Bhagavam Swayam. Of all of the avatars, Krishna is the source. Right?
Right.
So, in Brahma Samhita, we see the example of one candle is lighting 50 candles. All candles burn with the same intensity. But still, there was one source candle that gave fire to all the other candles. So, like that, Krishna is the source. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in a particular mood. Whereas, when Nrsimhadev comes, Matsya Avatar, when Lord Ramchandra comes, these are expansions of Krishna through, not exactly Krishna, through the, expansions that come and they expand. So that's a difference. But they are no less potent. That's why they are called plenary expansions. Meaning each avatar, the plenary, they are fully potent. But they may display only a portion of the potency for a particular purpose. Understand? So Krishna comes in different times for a particular purpose. He has a mission. So based on the needs of that mission, that avatar will display certain portions. It is potent enough to show all. So we should not think, oh, this is a lesser avatar, this is... No, that is our mental concern. They're all plenary, meaning they're all absolute. Equally potent, but they don't show all potency. Yes.
President, if you can give some more commentary on incarnation and explanation. So incarnation is an avatar. How do we understand, you try to explain, but how do we understand expansion?
Same.
you said they are not the guna, they are not the
But they're all.
avatar, but extension.
Don't get so much into semantics. Incarnation, avatar, expansion, they're all. There are some minor technical differences, but in all intents and purposes, they are the same, right? So, when Krishna appears, it's technically in appearance is an avatar, but it's him himself. But if he expands himself through his different expansions and appears, it's also an avatar, an incarnation. Right? So, but sometimes Krishna is appearing, just think, as himself. Sometimes one of his expansions is appearing. That's the main thing we can just distinguish a little bit. Other than that, we don't need to get into, there's some technical details of the terminology, but the main thing is sometimes Krishna appears himself, and sometimes he expands himself into so many different forms, and one of those forms come. And those forms are also no less potent, no less powerful, but they show that, but it's not Krishna himself coming. We kind of struggle with this because we can't do that, right? Like, I can't expand myself. So it's hard for us to kind of grasp it a little bit. It's natural, like how that's possible, but we have to take it at face value. But because it's, because of our limited material potency, it's inconceivable. That's why Krishna is achintya. He's inconceivable. His potencies are inconceivable. And how many expansions, how many avatars Krishna has?
Unlimited.
Not 10? As you cannot count the waves in the ocean, you cannot count the number of avatars like that.
Hare Krishna. The significance of millennium after millennium. Probably the miscreants are there. Why not yearly on yearly? I meant on a frequent basis wherever it is required.
Yeah, sometimes our acharyas comment on this, that Krishna also wants his devotees to get the credit for the work. So, to propagate, to re-establish dharma, he sent Bhakti Vinod Thakur to re-establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. He sent Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, sent Srila Prabhupada, like this. So, Krishna also likes ultimately to give the credit to his devotees. Do we think Lord Ram didn't know where Mother Sita was? He's Paramatma. You think he didn't know where she was? You think he came to the edge of the ocean? How will I cross this? With one step in the door, Vaman Dev, he crossed and broke the material universe plane with his toe and came Ganga. One step, he crossed the whole universe. And he's perplexed how I'm going to cross the ocean? Why? He wanted to engage his devotees. He wanted to give credit to his devotees. Hanumanji found Mother Sita. That gives Lord Ram happiness. So Krishna also likes to give his devotees credit. So he says, you go and deliver the miscreants. But the devotee knows. When the devotee comes and is speaking, who is actually giving the mercy? It is coming from Krishna. The devotee is not foolish in thinking, I am doing. He knows. Krishna has done everything, just like when Krishna shows the Virat Rupa. And Arjuna saw all the soldiers were already killed. And still, he told Arjuna, what? You fight, because I want you to take the credit. So Arjuna didn't think, I have killed all these soldiers. He shot arrows, but he knew Krishna has already done it. That is the mindset of the devotee. But that's why Krishna becomes millennium and he gives some chance. He likes to give credit and give glory. He likes to glorify his devotees. And his devotees like to glorify Krishna. Otherwise, Lord Ram would have ended the whole Leela without anybody's help. Just gone. Ravan, bye. Gone. He didn't need all of it. He engaged the whole armies and in service, in seva, and created all this drama and intrigue. Right? Simply to give pleasure to his devotees, to enjoy with his devotees. I'll share some different pastimes or little nuances of this Leela tomorrow in class, but very sweet reasons why Lord Ram does certain things. Very, very sweet. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
What
Hare
else?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So we are having Swargaloka to for the reactions what we did good.
We are having what?
No? Swargaloka and Narkaloka we have, right? So for the bad things we are going to Narkaloka, and for good things what we did we are going to Swargaloka, and then again we are coming back to get this birth. So why do we have both of that? And also we have karma, Prabhuji. For good reactions we have to face the reactions, and then for bad karma we have to face the reactions in this material world, in spite of having that Swargaloka and Narkaloka.
Well, Swargaloka is all part of the material world. It's part of the material world. So one reaches there based on the extent of their good karma. So one does, exceedingly high levels of good karma, then one can reach to that point. But it is not eternal yet. Right? So it's the land of karma. And just like the lower regions, Patal, all those lokas where one is, enduring sin or experiencing the reactions of their sinful activities, based on the extent of one's sin. If one does a little bit of sin, a little bit of good, they'll receive their karma within the middle planetary systems. Right? So it's based on the extent of good and bad where one will go to receive and consume their karma credits. But all of it, the devotee realizes ultimately is bad. Because it keeps being bound in this material world. So Krishna is teaching how to become free of all good and bad karma. That is only by the process of bhakti. And only by the process of bhakti one becomes free from this good and bad karma. And that's why Krishna tells Arjuna, don't be attracted by the flowery words of the Vedas. Because by the flowery words of the Vedas, you'll try to reach the highest heavenly planets. That sounds pretty good, right? It's good relative to here. But compared to Goloka Vrindavan, so that's why we have this in the material world, good and bad karma. We have all the different planetary systems based on the extent of one's good and bad activities. So that's really, really good karma. One can manifest in these higher realms. Really, really bad karma, one gets in the lower realms.
Viracha river is after heavenly planet or before heavenly planet?
Huh?
Viracha river.
That is after you break the coverings of the material universe, it sits between the spiritual world and the material world. It is the dividing point.
Spiritual.
Yeah. So once you cross the Viraja river,
after even heavenly planets.
remember the universe is like a ball, a sphere. Sphere is filled half with water, Garbha ocean, Garbha Dakshai Vishnu. From Garbha Dakshai Vishnu, lotus stem, Lord Brahma is sitting on top. Right? And then all the planets are around. So Brahma Lok, Swargalok, all these lokas, down to Bhulok, all of them are situated on the stem. All within this universe. And these unlimited number of universes are floating all within the material sky. And you must break through that universe, through the coverings, then cross into the Viraja river, and from there into the Brahmajyoti. One must cross beyond the Brahmajyoti to then reach the Vaikuntha realm, and one must cross beyond the Vaikuntha realm to reach Goloka. And this journey is described in Bhagavad Gita by Sanatana Goswami. Very sweet description. Exactly how the jiva goes to even the higher planets within the material world, what he sees. He goes to Tapalok, meets the devotees there, goes to all these lokas, and then ultimately to some of the Vaikuntha lokas, goes to Ayodhya lok, meets Hanumanji. Very sweet conversation takes place, and then continues on and ultimately reaches his home as Gop Kumar in
They're telling at spiritual body we have 4 hands.
in Vaikuntha. In Goloka we have 2 hands. In Vaikuntha, any other questions, comments?
So, aim for ultimate goal.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came not to give good or good enough. He came to give the supreme, the absolute best. Because he gave Goloka Vrindavan. Within Goloka Vrindavan, he gave the mood of Madhurya Rasa and the mood of Madhurya Rasa in Vipralamba, separation. Like the ultimate he gave. And that by the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And yet still we find some difficulty in it. The only reason we find difficulty is because we have not yet fully grasped what is the fruit of good chanting. It is this most sweetest exchange with the Supreme Lord that awaits. So we just have to build our faith there. And when we do it, keep chanting. More and more, purify the heart of all the anarthas, and it will shine through very soon.
Prabhu, is it also mentioned like how many days it takes for the jivas to travel through all these?
No, I haven't seen any exact time, but it's not really. There's no real time dimension in the spiritual world, so we don't have a kind of an elapsing, because it's not through our rocket ships and space shuttles that take us. When we see the celestial or the Vaikuntha planes coming for Dhruva Maharaj and his mother. And we see how they board and they ride. Very sweet descriptions. I'm sure there might be some indication, but there's no time elapsing in the spiritual form. Right? We don't see time is a factor that brings beginning to end. We only have beginning and end in material world, because everything is temporary. Right? So.
Yeah, but it may sound like a funny question, but seems like I put it in the simpler way. Let's say we have a ticket to Florida, but then on the way I got excited and I got stuck in Atlanta. So will that also happen? Now, as you mentioned, we will see Ayodhya Loka and see Hanumanji, and we will see Vaikuntha Loka. But will the soul get stuck there, or will it reach its place? Is it based on the qualification of the soul, or is it like its own free will?
That's a very, very important question, and you have to. You should really read Bhagavad Gita. It's very, very sweet in this discussion, but it is based on one's desire. Because remember, in the spiritual world, every desire is fulfilled instantly. So there's never a feeling of an unfulfilled desire. So we have to make very clear what is my desire. And Krishna you'll be tempted by many, many things. Extreme opulence, beauty like you've never seen before, things so startling, you'll be completely enamored. But there are certain things you won't see. And Gop Kumar is noticing this, saying, I don't see Krishna's flute. I don't see peacock feather. I don't see these things. I have to keep going. Keep going. But it's very hard. Because when you go, the agents of those planets, Hanumanji says, come on in! Enjoy! Nothing is better! Of course, he's right. He's right. And like that, all the different personalities, but has is fixed. I am from Vrindavan, Gokumar said. I'm from Govardhan. Where is my Giriraj? Where is my Krishna? So that mood then takes him to Goloka. So we have to know what is my destination, desired goal. Because otherwise it'll be based on your desire. Because no desire goes unfulfilled in the spiritual world. So one should have firmly fixed what is my desire. Then it will manifest. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, again, this mood of bhakti and Goloka Vrindavan. Because it's the most intense love that is most pleasing to Krishna. But again, it's up to us to desire.
So there is no chance of coming down once we reach that spiritual area, crossing the river. But if we are still below the river, then there is a chance of coming down.
Only one technical in the Brahma Jyotir, when one achieves impersonal Sayujya Mukti, it is not an eternal state. So one can fall from there, which is technically beyond the Viraja river, back to the material world. Because there is no activity. And eventually one will want some activity. One can progress further from there, hard and rare, but it can happen. But one who's reaching Vaikuntha Lok or Goloka right now, that's why Krishna says, one who comes to my eternal abode, he says, never returns here again. So we can be sure we made a big mistake once, we won't make it again. We won't make it again. Don't compound that mistake with more mistakes today. That mistake was already made, is done. Don't make new ones now. That's the main thing. Don't compound the problem. Uncompound.
So all the devotees in the spiritual world also come to know about this universe, Prabhuji?
I don't know, that's a good question. Most of the most of the devotees in the spiritual world never come to the material world. But what is their awareness of it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I know most don't come. We are in a minority. But we're also very fortunate in that minority, because we have come to see and through our hearing many of Krishna's very sweet pastimes here. We can go and see where Krishna lifted Govardhan, where Krishna tended the cows, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his Harinam Sankirtan. So that way we're actually very, very fortunate. And actually, in this position, this ability to reach Goloka Vrindavan, that is only given by Krishna. So all other avatars, they'll give bhakti up to Vaikuntha Lok. But this reaching Goloka Vrindavan comes when Krishna himself presents. So that is the exceptional, rare fortune we have. Very, very exceptional and rare. That is why even the demigods, they are desiring, better we come back to earth from this heavenly planet. There's too much opulence here to take to bhakti. Better we come to earth. During Kali Yuga, the process also is relatively simple. That's why many appear in Gaura Lila to enjoy with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So the other Sampradaya not talking about the Golok Vrindavan, right? Up to Vaikuntha only.
Some do, some don't. Depending, some sampradayas have different kind of end destinations. So some do and some don't. Remember, in spiritual world, everything is perfect. But then we have perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. But they're all perfect. And this is really hard for our materially conditioned mind to wrestle down. But this is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, on one level, there is no good, better, bad, that doesn't exist. But on the other level, there is a gradation. But the way it's explained is from the jiva's living entity's perspective, when they reach their eternal state, where they are is most perfect for them. Because if it wasn't, they'd reach wherever they felt most perfect, because all desires are fulfilled. So, but there's variety in that. So, we have to be careful. We don't think, oh, that's a lesser destination. That's incorrect. That's actually offensive. So we should be careful. It's not lesser, more but there is a perfect, more perfect. But we should understand what is the mercy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving and grab onto that. That is the best and safest means for us to, sort of understand that. But don't think, oh, this is a lesser opportunity like that. That's actually not right, because they're all perfect.
One more question.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dhams, like Krishna himself mentioned, the Vrindavan Vasis are the most pure devotees, right, Prabhu? So, of that, even in other places, like we have all those Divya Deshams, right, Prabhu? They say there are 108 Divya Deshams all over India and some in the spiritual world and all that. So, how was that significance of the places compared to Vrindavan, Prabhu? How do we put that? So for someone born in some other place like Divya Desham, are they also most fortunate but not as much as Vrindavan Vasis? Or?
Yeah, well, first of all, fortune is what we do with it. You can be born in the middle of Vrindavan, and if you don't take to Krishna consciousness, what is the value of your fortune? So fortune is what we do with it. You can be born in Troy, Michigan, the Dham of Troy, but if you're taking to your bhakti very seriously, you are most fortunate. So fortune is what we do with it. But Rupa Goswami gives very exacting information on the hierarchy. Right? So he says, what is greater than Vaikuntha? Even higher than Vaikuntha? Goloka. He says Mathura. Here. Why? Why? Huh? Because Krishna walked in Mathura. He doesn't go to Vaikuntha. Krishna doesn't go to Vaikuntha. Within Mathura district, what is the greatest, most powerful place for bhakti to be performed? Vrindavan. Within Vrindavan, where is the most potent place for bhakti?
Govardhan.
Govardhan. Within Govardhan, where is the most potent?
Radhakund.
That is like there. Within Radhakund, there is no. That is the most potent place to practice bhakti. But still we have to go and practice. You can live on the banks of Radhakund, but if your mind is not Vishnu Shmaranam, and it is Pizza Shmaranam, no value. But that is, by scripture, the most potent place. But there are many auspicious places. And remember, wherever the pure devotee goes, they bring the holy Dham with them. That is why 383 Lennox is non-different than the spiritual world. Because Srila Prabhupada brought that to all of us. If we think there's a difference, that is foolishness. We may say, I don't perceive it, that's okay. But we should know factually it is non-different than this. Because the pure devotee brings the spiritual world wherever they go. The holy Dham. So we also are very fortunate to be able to visit the holy Dham at least once a week, if not several times a week.
Vijay, how many times Srila Prabhupada visited the Trai temple? Maybe 3 times, 2 times.
That temple itself, 3 times I think, maybe 4. Detroit, several times.
For Detroit. Before the temple?
Yeah, before the temple. This temple, Devasata Mandir, was, Prabhupada put of all the 108 temples, he noted the 6 most dear temples to him. And this was one of them. He was very, very proud of this temple because he felt Krishna himself gave it to him for service. It was so opulent and so amazing. He personally came and negotiated the purchase of the temple. Right next to the pool house, you see, he sat on that and negotiated with the agent. He told the agent, give it to me. I'm a beggar.
And also it is a banks of water. Any temple on the banks of water has so much potency.
So it's a holy tirtha. Very, very. Prabhupada personally did not, get involved with the purchase of so many temples. Very few, but this was one of them. He personally installed the deities. Many of the deities. He personally installed the deities. So. He then, most important thing he did. He prayed to the deities. Please accept whatever service my followers render, despite whatever deficiencies there may be. That is our greatest fortune. Because when a pure devotee does that, we know Krishna will then accept our service, despite whatever lack of ability we may have. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nanta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Ram Navami Mahotsav ki jai.